This is Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Schnelling. This is a cop's cop, a true American badass who patiently and succinctly explains why following, trying to box in, or threatening to run over federal agents is a very bad idea. We need more police chiefs just like this. But first, let's have an example of what police chiefs should not be.
And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. Because when you do it there, you get
arrested? Yeah, let's see you do it, woman. This is why we shouldn't have females as beat cops, let alone as police chiefs. Let's hear from a real cop, a fucking man. Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Schnelling.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed.
Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado, heightened security after a shooting at the ICE facility on 4th of July. Federal authorities revealing new details on Monday, saying they believe it was a coordinated attack.
It was a planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE corrections officers.
And that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions.
Based on the preliminary information that we received, it indicates that ICE agents were conducting a detail. They approached a white van.
Crime scene tape stretched all along West Court in Glen Burnie on Christmas Eve morning, after police say a man was shot while attempting to run over an ICE officer with his vehicle. Investigators say ICE officers were looking into activity in the neighborhood when they approached the van. Police say the driver then tried to hit the officers. Officers opened fire, hitting the man behind the wheel.
That vehicle accelerated, coming to rest behind me in a wooded area behind these homes.
Photos released show the white van with visible damage left behind. ICE officials say the driver is an undocumented immigrant from Portugal. A passenger, also undocumented from El Salvador, was inside the van at the time.
Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that.
As we're learning, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem saying she's going to deploy more special operations to Chicago. Here's what this says. Today in Chicago, members of our brave law enforcement were attacked, rammed, and boxed in by 10 vehicles, including an attacker with a semi-automatic weapon. I'm deploying more special operations to control the scene. Reinforcements are on their way. If you see a law enforcement officer today, thank them. This post coming shortly after we did see another social media post here from Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin after she shared that federal agents were rammed and boxed in by 10 cars in Broadview, Illinois, and that's where anti-U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement crowds have been gathering for days. DHS said agents were unable to move their vehicles and they had to exit. One of the drivers accused of ramming into the law enforcement vehicle was armed with a semi-automatic weapon, as we just shared with you here. McLaughlin said officers, quote, were forced to deploy their weapons and fire defensive shots at an armed U.S. citizen. McLaughlin also noted that the armed woman, who was a U.S. citizen, was named in a Customs and Border Protection Intelligence Bulletin. The woman allegedly doxed agents. No law enforcement officers were seriously injured during this incident, adding that the situation is evolving as you are taking a live look now at Chicago. The agents were reportedly performing a routine patrol in Broadview, which is a suburb of Chicago, when the alleged assault occurred. Now, I also wanted to share here some video that we do have from yesterday as Fox News witnessed more than a dozen protesters being arrested in the streets near the ICE processing center in Broadview. Local authorities charged at least 5 people. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem saying yesterday that she and her team also were blocked from accessing the Village of Broadview Municipal building located about 12 miles west of downtown Chicago. Noem said that she and her team were stopping for a quick bathroom break. And in the same post on social media, Noem slammed Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker as well.
And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why?
That's Robin. She's an activist who comes out here to this immigration court in Sterling and documents what ICE agents are up to. This morning here in this parking lot, she says she was just videotaping that agent. She was not getting in his way when he got aggressive with her and grabbed her by the arms. She then backed up, and then, as you can see in this video, the agent then walks up to the person who's doing the videotaping and gets right into the camera lens. And according to the person that was doing the videotaping, knocks that phone out of her hand.
What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them.
You can just kill ICE agents. You know that? You can just kill them. You don't have to hold your phone in their face and ask people when their birthday is and ask people what their name is and then try to find wherever they end up in Los Angeles. You can kill them. This isn't about social media clout anymore. This isn't about video. This isn't about the phone. This is about get a gun and start killing ICE agents. They are deputized corrections officers. Kill them.
If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death.
Now, for those of you who don't know, I got 10 years of law enforcement experience. I also was an assistant district attorney, and, I've been a defense attorney for a long time. This is just my evaluation of the facts as they are. I think the officer has a good defense, and I think a conviction here is probably going to be very, very, very unlikely, even without the political nonsense. The reason why I think is because when the vehicle goes forward and the officer has the gun pointed at the vehicle and he's actually hit with the vehicle, if that happens, then I don't think there's really going to be any court that's going to say that that's not a serious threat. And for those facts to manifest themselves, it's going to probably lead to this officer not being charged with anything. They may say this is a good shoot. And in this case, I can see both sides where you could say this may not be as clean a shoot as you want, but I don't think this officer will go to jail. I don't think there's going to be any charges brought. And if there are charges brought, they're going to be brought in vain, because soon as you put an officer in front of a vehicle and the vehicle goes forward and the person's pressing the gas, it's honestly going to be almost impossible to convict that officer. It just is. It's standing in front of a vehicle that's coming at you is a serious threat. And a serious threat doesn't mean it has to kill you. It just has to seriously injure you. It can break your leg, for instance. That's a serious threat. Also, there's a lot of hindsight going on with the political commentary. Like, oh, you see, the officer could have moved out of the way, could have done something else. And the law doesn't work that way. It's not about what could have been done. It's what happened. You're supposed to avoid looking back and saying he should have done this. What happened at the time? And was he being objectively reasonable?
When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force.
Yeah. Now that's what you call a man's man. Exactly someone who I'd want protecting my neighborhood or my city. Now granted, Chicago is far from perfect, but sometimes a city suffers from crime trends that's beyond a police commander or chief's capacity to completely negate. Plus, Chicago has that communist and notorious soy boy, illegal alien loving, tutu wearing ballerina Brandon Johnson as mayor. And this delicate little commie hates Donald Trump and the feds. Too much testosterone for him. So I highly doubt that Police Superintendent Snelling has the full backing of his boss. And I'm sure that his hands are probably tied by that communist. And we all know what Chicago's politics are like. So it's a wonder that the man even speaks up like that. Now let's watch another example of what we don't want as a police chief. Slop cop soy boy police chief of Portland, Bob Gay. Bob Day, who cries like an old woman, smearing his clown makeup over two illegal alien Venezuelan gang members shot by Border Patrol in Portland the next day after Renee Good received her rounds of justice. And I wonder why they were shot. Maybe it has something to do with what Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Schnelling was just warning people not to do. Yes, that's right. As you can imagine, they tried to ram the Border Patrol agents. Anyways, on to Bob Gay. Bob Day.
It saddens me.
Oh, does that make the baby sad? Poor baby.
That we even have to qualify these remarks.
So then don't qualify him, you fucking pussy.
Because I understand, or at least have attempted to understand through your voices, your concern, your fear, your anger.
Oh, I love that empathy. Why don't you have some empathy for the fucking Border Patrol agents that were almost run over? Piece of shit.
This information in no way is meant to disparage or to condone or support or agree with any of the actions that occurred yesterday.
Incredible. The difference in messaging between Chicago Superintendent Larry Schnelling and Bob Gay couldn't be any different. So what you're doing by not justifying what happened the other day or yesterday is you're justifying what happened to the Border Patrol agents. Another case of selective empathy. And it's always empathy for the outsider.
But it is important that we stay committed to the rule of law, that we stay committed to the facts, that we stay a trustworthy and legitimate police department for all of Portlanders.
What that piece of shit is talking about, Bob Gay lied to the citizens of Portland about the status, about the citizenship, about many details of these Venezuelan gang members that were shot by Border Patrol because they tried to ram Border Patrol with their vehicle. So you know what, police chiefs and police superintendents and sheriffs of America? Be less like Bob Gay and be more like Larry Schnelling. Anyways, God bless ICE, God bless America, God bless MAGA, and God bless you.